ensure the beginning, body, and conclusion reinforce the purposes, project sincerity and conviction, and control any nervousness you may feel. Strive not to use notes. 5 to 7 minutes. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks so much.
Okay. This is a topic that I'm sure most of us have grappled with. And I've got a question. How many of you have found it difficult to focus or concentrate, not only at work, but at home, on vacation, on drives, just throughout your day? There's so many distractions. And certainly I have found that myself. And to a point, I was trying to decide on a topic for my speech. And I kept getting distracted. And there were so many things kept popping up. I thought, well, why not write or why not speak about that? And what is the cause of that? And most of the time, it came back to one thing. But we'll get to that. So what I'd like to do is, in order to show my different, I've got show and tell here, I've got different items to show you. I'm going to fold this up so that I can put them on the table and not turn my back to you. Let me just drop this down. Okay, I've got a few items here that illustrate things that we can do, things that we would do in the past that would seem not necessarily a distraction, but they could be a part of a profession, but they're things that we would have done, such as writing a letter. Years ago, people actually wrote letters or they typed them. So we would pull out a device like this. It's an old Smith Corona typewriter. I picked up at a flea market. And we would actually sit there and type out a letter. It's stuck. But you would sit here and you would type your name, you type a letter, and people got very proficient at it. There was typing pools. But this was something that you would do to communicate with other people. You would type a letter. And you would, once you finished typing it, you would fold up the letter, you'd put it in an envelope, and you would mail it. And then the mailman would bring you a letter. But that's something that was done in the past that really isn't done much anymore. So that's something a way of communicating that we used to use that we no longer use. Also, when we wanted to go somewhere, what would we do? Everyone had one of these, either an atlas or a map of some sort, and these go back to early times. Even the Romans had maps. Everyone had maps. And you would pull out a map, and they were great. You could sit there and you could look at places, you could see the mountains, you could see the oceans, you could figure out how long it would take you to get somewhere, and there's a little chart in the back that told you mileage. And that was great, but you had to pull out the book. So you'd pull out this book, and you have to stop what you're doing. If you're doing something else, you're eating or whatever, and you pull out the book and look at the map. But how many of you use a map these days? Like this?
The old people?
Yeah, some people do. I've still got one in my car.
Same people that are paying their dues with a check.
That's right. That's right.
Also, something that we would do frequently was we'd play games, Monopoly, or pick up sticks, or this is just an example. This is compact, but a little slot machine. No. So we would, this would be a distraction, something that we could do just to kill time or to have fun with other people. We'd stop what we're doing, take the time out, we'd play a game. And that was relaxing, it was fun, but it's something that people don't do a whole lot anymore with something physical. They may do that online, they may do it on a computer, but actually playing games is very rare. It is coming back. Milton Bradley is still in business. They still sell Monopoly. Another thing is, we used to read newspapers a lot. And my wife religiously reads papers all the time. We read the funnies, we get out a newspaper to get information. I know a lot of people still read the Wall Street Journal, and there's certain publications that are still very popular. But a newspaper is something that we used to do quite often. We used to read a newspaper. You'd stop what you're doing, read a newspaper, maybe at lunch at work. People would pull out a newspaper and check things and just catch up with what's going on, catch the morning paper in the morning. But that's something that's not done very much either anymore. If you wanted to tell time, you used to need a clock. And myself, I don't even wear a watch anymore. I stopped wearing a watch a couple of years ago because I found, they're great and they're stylish, but I don't need it. I don't need it anymore because there's clocks everywhere, and there's on your cell phone there's clocks. But this is something that used to be very common, and they're still selling them, and people still use them. We still use an alarm clock at home, but it's something that could be seen as not a distraction, but it's something that we used to do that we don't do anymore. And I'm getting to a point here. Stick with it. Pictures. We all love to take pictures, right? So they're great. You get out your camera, and everybody used to. We had Polaroids back then, back in the day, and we got these cameras and digital cameras, and you can instantly see what you took, and it's fascinating. But a lot of the small portable cameras, the smaller ones, are going by the wayside. They've still got the high-end cameras, and that's not really high-end, but you can still buy a nice digital SLR camera. It takes fantastic shots, but the small camera, it's not that popular anymore, so you can get them very cheaply. The boom box. These used to be really popular back in the 70s and 80s, or really the 80s, because they didn't have them, I don't think, in the 70s. But they became very popular. You got your CD, your radio, and they even had little TVs in them. But these were very popular, and we would listen to music, and when you wanted to listen to music, you'd grab this thing, you could take it anywhere. It's portable. Yeah, on your shoulder, you can put it in your car, you can go roller skating with it. But these were very popular. It's something that we could do and take your mind off things. You could relax. You could take it anywhere, take it to the beach. Transistor radio, I believe, was designed in the late 60s or 50s even. And that created a whole new revolution in portable sound, portable music. And it evolved into the boombox. But the boombox, again, is something that's kind of going by the wayside. Other things have replaced it. And that gets me to my last device. Remember the cell phone?
Yes.
These were great. This was my first cell phone. This replaced my pager. And we all know how fun pagers were, because when a pager went off, you had to go find a payphone. So no matter what you were doing, where you were, it would start vibrating or beeping. But then now we have a cell phone, and we can call people and talk to them. But that's all. You could just use it to call people. You couldn't text on these things. I don't think you could. At least when we first got this, there was no such thing as text, and there was, no other functions. But it was a phone, and this was small. This was great. I love this thing. That's why I still have it. I wish I could reactivate it, but I can't. So we've got all these things. We've got the boombox. We've got the camera. We've got games. We've got maps. We've got newspapers. We've got the typewriter. All these things that we can be doing to communicate with people or play or all this stuff. But now you're sitting at your desk at work, or you're on vacation at the beach, or you're riding in the car, and you stop at a rest stop, and what do you hear? Doo-doo-doo. Somebody just sent you an email, or somebody just texted you. So you've got to pull it out and see who it was, see what it was. And so you're communicating with other people, you're checking your emails. I didn't put a laptop up here, but these are replacing laptops. You can surf, you can take pictures, you can listen to music.